right, here we go. Welcome back to Golf Subpar. Colt, Knost, Drew, Stoltz, Sleaze. It's actually a beautiful day out here in LA. I'm at the Genesis Invitational. Tiger Woods making his return. But first, we need to talk about last week's WM Phoenix Open where Nick Taylor took down the Seagull in an incredible playoff.
How about the kid coming through like that? 3 back with 4 to go, rattles off 3, including the one on the 72nd, and then birdies the thing twice, pushing darkness at the end there. Hell of a finish. Sad that it ran up against the Super Bowl because I'm sure the rest of the world was probably tuned into that. But in terms of finishes, man, that's about as good as you're going to get. Shout out to the Seagull. Charlie Hoffman, damn near pulling that thing out. I was pretty sure with 4 to go. I was like, dude, Charlie's going to win this thing. And damned if Nick didn't come in there and just start making everything. You go look back at his win in Canada last year, Cole. I mean, this dude's just got a knack for the big moment. And he's going to be a beast in that President's Cup, I'm sure, later on this fall.
Yeah, he's going to be on that squad for Captain Mike Weir, but he is, man. He's clutch. I thought it was over when he laid up from 250 there on 15. I obviously, everybody questioned that. And then he obviously knew what he was doing. Ended up making birdie, but the awesome birdie on 16 and then the putt on 18 just falling into that right side and then just walking it in the playoff. That's his 4th PGA Tour win. He just continues to get better and better. The Seagull, 47 years young, almost getting it done. It would have been such a cool story. I mean, him being sponsored by WM to win that tournament, I know would have meant so much to him. But, man, you got to give him credit. 64-64 on the weekend.
Dude, he played unbelievable. And even in going into that playoff, he was sitting around. He was watching the closing. I don't think he was warming up or doing much of anything. Comes back out there, hits a seed in the first playoff hole, hits it close, makes birdie. Nick does the same thing. Like, he didn't lose that golf tournament. He just got beat by Nick Taylor. I mean, he did everything he needed to do. How about the distance that the goal is hitting it right now, dude? He was taking that lake out of play. I didn't know that kind of gas was in the tank necessarily for him. I mean, he hit it down there in that J.B. Holmes plaque range during his final hole of regulation, dude. Charlie looked damn good, and he's going to be playing this week now out at Riv, which is awesome.
His golf swing looked good. He didn't look good, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's all relative.
But, man, that was cool to watch, man. It was cool to be out there on the bag for Taylor Montgomery, but I'll tell you this, I'm very excited to be carrying a microphone this weekend out at the Genesis instead of a golf bag. That damn thing was heavy. 33 holes on Friday, 22 on Sunday. I'm exhausted.
Let's get into that a little bit. We got some caddying to talk about. We got some WM fans to talk about. But in terms of the caddying, now that the week's over, just a complete shitburger of a week for you in terms of how long you had to go each day. Are you happy you did it? Sad you did it? Where do you stand?
No, I'm very happy, man. It was a lot of fun. It was cool to let Taylor let me have that opportunity. I had to work on him about the golf bag. He had so much shit in there. It was absolutely ridiculous. I think I cleaned out 60 gloves, 40 hydration packets. I'm like, what are we doing carrying all this nonsense around in here? And then TaylorMade was nice enough to let me carry the smaller bag, which was a huge help considering we did have to go 33 holes there on Friday. But it was awesome, man. He was honestly right in the mix. I believe on Sunday when we went out to finish our 3rd round, he missed a 6-footer on 18. He would have been 3 back. I think was in 12th going into Sunday. Struggled, got off to a really rough start there on Sunday in the final round. He was 4 over 5. Had to take a couple unplayables. But it's cool to be out there. Had great pairings all week. Kevin Stadler, Bo Hostler for the first 2 rounds, and then Shane Lowry and Joel Damon. By the way, Joel Damon is a goddamn rock star. The place, everyone just loves this guy. They were going nuts every time he'd walk onto a tee. He has so many new fans. I mean, because of this Netflix full swing, it is really cool. It was fun going with those guys. He was a little under the weather on Sunday, which was unfortunate, but man, the people love them some Joel Damon.
How can you not? If you don't like Joel Damon, then there's something wrong with you. Dude, I was walking in, I believe it was Tuesday night. I was finishing up out there. I was walking into the family area, and it was pitch black. Getting ready for the Pro-Am draft party. That's what it was. Pitch black, raining. I just kind of ducked my head out for a minute, and I saw a group coming up 18 to the 18th green. I was like, what kind of idiots are out here playing a practice round right now? And I'm looking closer, and I see you lugging this staff bag. The thing was damn near carrying you, one strap, shoulder on, multiple balls on the green. I was like, oh, my God, that's cool. I took a video of it, but it was so dark. It was hard to see, but I was like, oh, my God, if he has to carry this thing. Dude, I don't know if my boy's going to make it. That's going to be a lot of shit in that bag with all the rain gear, all your rain gear, umbrellas. I was feeling for you, but you gutted it out, dude. Kudos to you. Grade yourself on a 1 to 10, caddy-wise. Where do you think you did?
I mean, it's hard for me to grade myself.
9.5.
I think I did. I think I did really good. We had a lot of fun. He really struggled off the tee, but grinded it out. I mean, his short game is unbelievable. He hit it some absolutely crazy places. I didn't even know some of those places existed at TPC Scottsdale. The one I tell everybody about is the 15th hole, rather exciting par 5. A man hit it OB, and I've never seen in all the years of going out there. I've never seen that happen before.
You see a lot of people right on 15. You see them pitch it out from the desert and knock the third on. You don't see many over the fence into the little river or whatever the hell that is over there by Kierland. That takes not only some offline and open club face, but you got to smash it to get it over that fence. I don't know that I've ever seen one go over. I've seen some way wide right there, but I haven't seen over the fence.
No, we were joking with him on Sirius XM this morning. I told him, I said I was going to the airport yesterday, and I think I saw your ball bouncing down the 101. Yeah, dude. I mean, that thing was so far right.
Somebody at In-N-Out was ordering a double-double, and a TaylorMade just popped into their car. Oh, yeah, sweet.
Man, but it was so much fun. Seriously, I mean, I really thought he was going to go out there and have a great final round. He came out Sunday morning and just striped it. He was struggling with the driver all week, striped it on the holes we had left, hit a beauty off 18, hit in there 6 feet. And I was like, oh, boy, this could be something good. Like, he could go low. I could, possibly get a top 10, top 5 out of this thing. But just the rough start. Took it unplayable on the first hole, made double, and just never really got it going. I think birdied 3 of the last 5 to get in and shoot 2 over, but ended up falling down to, I think, 38. So, but man, all in all, it was awesome. I would love to do it again for him. I would just hope the weather would be a little better and the bag be a little lighter.
You had
18 holes a day is plenty.
You had it right this morning on radio when you said, we had a great first through third rounds, and then he had a bad day on the fourth. Yeah, you had it right. You're talking like a caddy now, dude. We were going along great, and then he made double. That's it. Yep. That's how you do it.
But like I said, it was awesome. I love the kid. He's got such a great attitude. I mean, I think if a lot of guys, if they would have drove it the way he did, probably would have been packing them their locker up on Friday evening. But he fought it out, man, and he had a chance to have a really good finish. Just struggled a little bit, but it's fun to watch him play, man. He obviously kicked a little wild off the tee, but that short game is something special to watch. And he was great. Like, had me involved on every single shot. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, fun being in the mix out there. Kudos to you playing the weekend, your first time out there. I know, look, a lot of the narrative around the week is the fans, how rowdy it got. Look, I'm there, but I'm pretty disconnected from what actually happening on the golf course a lot of the time. We're going to get into it now, but you being out there on the grounds for the entire week, what'd you think of kind of just the environment at the WM Phoenix Open?
Yeah, look, I played 6 of them, I think, and now caddying, I'm always out there. Like, it's a wild event, right? It's supposed to be the craziest event on the PGA Tour. It's so much fun. It's just unfortunate that a few people kind of ruin it for everyone. It got a little out of control. Like where I was, for the most part, like on Saturday when we played, we were on the front 9 before they shut the gates down and stopped selling booze. So I didn't get to see all the craziness there on the back 9. Like when we came through there, I think because they shut off the booze, a lot of people left. And so I didn't have to deal with all that. The people were awesome that followed us. Like a lot of yelling, a lot of energy for Joel. So it was great. But there are those few. I mean, the guy jumping over the fence and going in the bunker on 16, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, that stuff just can't happen. I heard they knocked over some fences or it's trying to steal beer when they cut it off. I mean, some lady fell off over the railing some 20, 30 feet down below. It's just like, can we not just have a good time without being idiots?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm getting a lot of messages from it. I've talked to players, some of whom said everything was fine. Some of whom said we need to tighten this thing up. But I think like the overall consensus from the Thunderbirds is like, look, nobody wants this thing to go better and go more smoothly than we do. Yes, we were absolutely dealt a bad hand on Saturday, and that led to a lot of it. It wasn't the amount of people that we had through the gates, because we've had numbers like that on Saturdays before. It was that so much of that golf course was unusable from a standpoint of where people like to sit, where they like to gather, all these slopes. You look at like the right side of 18, there's normally a ton of people up there. There was nobody there because it was unusable. It was just mud, and all that's coming from the rain, which we never really have to deal with. But then you also have the any day passes that we sell, and a lot of those passes get used on a Thursday or a Friday typically. Well, this year, the weather was shit. So when did people show up? They all showed up on Saturday, and it's the GA portion of the event that really, it leads to 95+% of the problems. We have a zero tolerance policy with anything with like heckling if you get out of line. If you're saying stuff during people's backswing, that's a big issue for me. Like, do whatever you want, just don't do it while they're hitting, right? And we toss more people out than ever. Like, we want this thing to run as smooth as humanly possible. I mean, as we speak, Colt, Our president, Chance Cosby, our tournament chairman next year, Matt Mooney, are in LA right now, meeting with the Players Advisory Council, going over like, what can we do? How can we make this better? So I think things got a little out of hand on Saturday. We're going to make changes. We're going to adjust it. We try to run the best tournament, the wildest tournament, but also keep it within the confines of like controlled chaos. And I think there were things within our control and some that were a little bit out of our control that led to what we got on Saturday. But at the same time, like there's 200,000+ people out there. The amount of actual terrible incidents that took place are minimal. It's just the problem is all of those get filmed, all of those go straight to social media, and they all get posted and go viral. And then it's like this entire place is a complete circus, which isn't the case. But there are some bad apples out there that mess it up for everyone. So we're going to take some steps next year to hopefully tighten that up and have a little bit less of the bullshit that goes on out there.
Yeah, 98% of the people are great. They're out there having a great time, having some cocktails, yelling, which is great. I mean, like I said, when Joel walked on a tee box, it was just awesome every single time. The place went nuts. But you just got those ones that are trying to, interrupt play, being rude and personal to the players. It's just there's no place for it. I mean, when you piss Zach Johnson off, I mean, you've definitely done something wrong. He's the nicest guy on the planet. He's not going to say anything to anyone. And you saw him trying to, basically figure out who was heckling him and get up in their face. And there's just no place for that. I mean, what happened with Billy Horschel, the guy yelling in, I think it was Akshay's backswing. Like, that stuff just can't happen. Like, go out there, have fun, but respect the players, man. This is their job.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's mostly the general admission stuff. It's like so many people show up with all their boys like, yo, we're going to 16. Well, unless you get out there at 4 a.m, you ain't getting on to 16. So then they get out there, they can't get to 16. Like, all right, let's go over to hole 6 or let's go over to hole 5 and make that our own little 16. And they try to create that same sort of vibe where it used to be like, let's keep all that stuff confined to 16. You can do anything you want. That's kind of, everybody knows that going in, but it's spilled over into other parts of the golf courses. And we're going to take some measures. We're already talking about it to try to tighten that up for the next year. So Saturday got a little bit loose. All in all, given the weather, which is, I mean, dude, how many days a year do we get like that in Phoenix? 2, and they just happened to come during the Phoenix Open. Like it created some challenges for the entire week. All in all, okay, but definitely, we just want to make sure the players are happy and that everyone is like safe. Those are basically the 2 rules. Keep the players happy because we need them to come back and want to play, and we need there to not be any incidents like health-wise. And it shouldn't be that hard, but there's a couple of idiots out there that mess it up for everyone. But we want to stay the Phoenix Open. We want to stay the rowdiest, best party on the PGA Tour. So we'll tighten up a couple of things going forward.
Yeah, I know y'all will. You got a great leader in Chance Cosby. It'll get better. We just need to, like you said, get rid of the few bad apples out there. But the atmosphere is unbelievable. I know the players love it as long as it doesn't cross the line. Like, I mean, playing with Shane Lowry, he's like, I told my buddies, like, they got to come over here next year. Like, I'll rent them a house and everything. It is just incredible to see him. Even Shane said, how cool would a Ryder Cup be at TPC Scottsdale like that? I was like, it would be amazing. You'd have to push it back a little bit. But the atmosphere is just unmatched. It's really cool. I had a great week out there. Got to thank Taylor again for let me caddy for him. And then I made a lot of caddies jealous out there, sleeves with my hat deal from Local IQ. Got to thank those boys over there. That was really cool of them to do that for me. But what a great week. It's one of those ones, it's so much fun, but honestly, you're kind of glad when it's over because it's exhausting.
Yeah, dude. And apologies to everyone listening. We're a day late on this. Part of that was because travel schedule. Part of that was because we're dying. My voice is a lot better today than it was yesterday, and we run into this every week. But it's a bucket list item, dude. I mean, I'm out there on 16, meeting tons of people throughout the week. We got people rolling in from Japan, Korea, name it, like across the world. They're like, this has been a bucket list for me. I've always wanted to see 16 at the Phoenix Open. It's like we want it to remain that without it getting too crazy and without driving players crazy and all that stuff. So if we can just eliminate the handful of idiots out there kind of messing it up for everyone, it'll continue to be the best party on grass.
Yeah, it's so much fun, man. But we're on to the Genesis Invitational this week, Sleaze. It's awesome to be out here at Riviera Country Club. Loaded field, just 70 guys, 50-man cut, unless you're within 10 shots of the lead as well. But the big news, Tiger Woods is back in his Sunday red clothing line. Just saw him actually walk by just a little bit ago. Looks pretty damn good. Walk looks good. Heard from guys on the ground. He played 9 holes this morning. Swing looked pretty good. So I'm fired up for Tiger to be here. This is one of the best tournaments on the PGA Tour, and it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, I mean, just to have Tiger back, I'm reading things and talking to people, and we're talking about expectations. Can he finish in the top 20? Can he make the cut? Can he do whatever? I'm like, dude, who cares? Like, he's playing, and he's playing before the Masters. Hopefully we get to see him maybe a couple more times before the Masters. Like, he's back playing, and to like expect great golf out of him, having not played an official start since last year's Masters. Like, my expectations are very low for Tiger. I just hope that he plays this week. I would love to see him around for the weekend, which I think is very realistic. And then hopefully we can see him a few more times, because if we actually want him to play somewhat of a factor in these major championships, dude, you can't do it just showing up and playing those against the best players in the world that are polished, tight, playing every single week. It's too heavy of a lift even for Tiger.
Yep, I agree. Get a few tournaments in before Augusta, and he's going to be a problem around that place. But good to see him. Like I said, it's always good to be at the Genesis Invitational.
The Genesis is going to be sweet. And let me tell you a little something about Genesis, Colt. No matter where your next adventure takes you, the Genesis GV80 is up for it. Featuring stunning design, a wide range of intuitive technology, and impeccable performance, the GV80 will ensure every drive will be an unforgettable one. The GV80 handles all types of terrain with standard all-wheel drive and available electronic limited slip differential. The GV80's navigation system, with 14.5 HD screens, seamlessly integrates smartphone connectivity and cloud technology for faster, more accurate routing. The GV80's spacious cabin features customizable ambient lighting. Genesis, the proud sponsor of the Genesis Invitational. Make the game your own. The Genesis GV80. Learn more at genesis.com. It's a nice ride, bud. Very nice ride.
Oh, they're beautiful. All the players are rolling around in their courtesy cars. I'm on the range here right now. It's a beautiful day watching these guys stripe it, except for Taylor's over here grinding, shocking, hitting drivers all over the place as usual. But
luckily, they got a fence out there for the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If he hits it over the fence, we got a problem. But this is one of the best events on the tour. Like I said, I'm fired up for this week. I love this golf course, even though it beat my ass every time I played it. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And our guest this week is actually playing in the Pro-Am on Wednesday. We got one of the most badass women on the planet. Lydia Ko joins us on Subpar. Here she is.
All right. Our next guest here today will make everyone feel very insecure about their life accomplishments. She became the #1 golfer in the world at the ripe old age of 17. She's racked up 28 wins already as a professional, including 2 major titles, and is only 1 point shy of qualifying for the Hall of Fame at the age of 26. Lydia Ko is in the house. Lydia, good to be with you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Great playing this past week at the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament. I know it's not the result you wanted. Ended up losing in a playoff to Nelly Korda. But tell us a little bit about last week and what it's been like, trying, obviously you need 1 point to get in the Hall of Fame like Drew said, but what's it been like this past week playing with all that on the line?
Yeah, I actually got my first win in over a year at Lake Nona at the Tournament of Champions, and it was just nice to be, back in the winner's circle, and to be able to play the week after was definitely good momentum and not feel like it was a one-off, to back off a win with, a good round on the first day. And, actually even going down the 15th, 16th hole, I didn't realize I was still in it. I hadn't really seen what the leaderboard was like. And, I made a really good eagle on 17 to, set myself a good opportunity. Obviously hard to, lose in a playoff, 3-putting. But in saying that, Nelly played amazing. She went eagle birdie to, for us to both go in the playoffs. So it was kind of, I think it was just a lot of great golf. Obviously you wish that the results was, my way around, but, I felt like, I didn't lose, and, Nelly was just the better player at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're not gambling guys here, Lydia, but if I were to place a wager, I'd probably put the money down on you getting into the Hall of Fame here very shortly, whether it's next week or however long from now. But with, we're talking about it, you're aware of it, the media talks about it every single week. How hard is it to go out on a given week and not think about it? Because pretty much people are going to talk about it until it happens.
To be honest, it's been talked about since 2022. I had such a good year, and I was able to get 5 points just within that year. And being in the Hall of Fame was is obviously awesome, and it's not many ladies that are in the Hall of Fame. So to think that I could be potentially one of those names in there. It's a huge honor, but I actually feel more comfortable being 1 point away than two. I think when I was 2 points away, I felt like, it was close, but still like 2 wins away or two of something away. But now that I'm just 1 point away, I feel like, if I keep working on the right things, hopefully that opportunity will come again.
What's your career been like for you? I mean, you're 26 years old. You're so young, but we've been watching you play golf at the professional level for 11 years. Like, that's just insane to me. But do you still love it, teeing up and competing as much as you did back when you were 15 and got your first win on the LPGA Tour?
Yeah, I enjoy the journey. I've definitely had my own, ups and downs. And I've had spans where I hadn't won in like 3 years, and then years where I won multiple times in a season. So I'm very grateful of my career, and I came on tour at a younger age, and I feel like by now I should be at least in my 30s, being my 11th year on tour. But, I'm only 26, and golf has just given me a lot of opportunities and, opportunities to meet just great people as well. So sometimes I want to pull my hair out because, we all know what golf can do to us. But it's given me a lot, and I think it's helped me grow as not only an athlete, but a person.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, both of us played professional golf. We know what the life's like. It's not not all glamorous like a lot of people think it is. For you personally, what's your least favorite part about professional golf?
Um, I think just like playing, like every day is like you face the result, and like every day you're under the scrutiny, or uh like I guess it's just very result bias. Like even if it's a practice day or a tournament day, I'm sure that is the case in other situations as well. But for golf, like depending on how your round went, like that is a complete evaluation of what your performance was like. There's no real lying about like how good it was and or how bad it was. And I think just sometimes being always in that position of being evaluated, I think is difficult. And, we all have, our ups and downs, and we're trying to manage it, make sure that the roller coaster is not like too high and low. But I think that is, to me, I think the most difficult part, not only physically, but mentally.
Yeah, that's well said. And luckily for you, there haven't been a whole lot of lows on that roller coaster. But I want to ask you this question because there's just not many people in the world of golf that you can ask this to. When you've won 28 times as a professional, what do the celebrations look like? Do you still get excited? Like, dude, I've done this 27 other times. Like, let's go home and go to bed.
I mean, I don't drink, so no alcohol is involved. Like even my last win, our team just got like Turkish food to go and had it at my house. But yeah, I think every win is special in its own way, and even like to me, like winning the silver and bronze medal at the Olympics, those were also like a win as well. So it's, I think, really hard to say like which win was more special. So I celebrated it a little bit differently. But no, for me, I think it's like who is there with me at that time, whether it's my mom, like my family members, or my team. I think they are what makes that a little bit more special and more celebratory. But I'm not really the most fun, outgoing person, so I keep it very boring, I guess.
That might be why you win so much,
yeah, I was
too.
gonna say, that's exactly. If one of us wins something, we party for a month.
Oh, dude, I'm still celebrating stuff.
But you mentioned the Olympics. You got the silver medal in 16, the bronze in 21. How important is the Olympics to you? Because obviously it's kind of new for the game of golf. It happened way back in the day, but for us, it's very new. And obviously we celebrate major championships and really focus on those. But for the Olympics, how important is that?
Yeah, I think when golf was announced to be back in the Olympics for the first time in over 100 years for the 16 Rio Olympics, I think my biggest goal was to make sure that I was there and to be able to represent my country. And at that time, I was the number one ranked player in the world. So on the women's side, so I felt like I was playing with a lot of expectations. So there was just a lot going on in Rio, but in Tokyo, I actually think I was able to just enjoy the experience a little bit more and kind of take in, what it actually is like to play in the Olympics. I joke all the time that I might not be a great athlete, but I am an Olympian, and I am very proud to, have represented New Zealand in the last two Olympics, and I'm excited and hopeful to be able to represent New Zealand again in Paris.
Who's the coolest athlete outside of golf you've gotten to meet in your two Olympic experiences?
No, I actually didn't stay in the village both times. So I didn't get to meet a lot of athletes. I, walked by, a few like in the one day that I was there. But for me, I think just the really coolest bit was in Rio, because other athletes could come and watch us play. I think over 20 New Zealand Olympians came and watched me play on the final day, and a couple of them had actually won gold medals in their sports. So I remember them actually coming with their gold medal to come watch me play. And I think on those final few holes, when I saw them like all around, with our team uniform and our flag, I think that was just the coolest part of like being in the Olympian club.
That's awesome. What a cool experience. I know you're probably looking forward to this year in Paris. On the PGA Tour recently, Nick Dunlap won as an amateur, and everybody made a massive deal out of it. He's 20 years old, blah, blah, blah. You won on the LPGA when you were 15. So when you saw him do this, were you kind of like, that's kind of cute?
No, well, I actually don't follow a lot of golf, but I had actually seen him play at other events before, and it was that week was the same as our first week back, so I was actually watching his highlights. I really love his swing, and I felt like even though he may have been the underdog, the guy that obviously could make history, but wasn't really expected to win. But the way he finished, and even the up and down he made on the last to win by one, I thought was really cool. And a win is special. You could be on tour for more than 10 years and your win comes on your 11th, or, you're thinking of retiring and then your first one comes in. So it's just, I think it doesn't matter how old you are. I think it's special. And obviously that was, a ticket and maybe an opportunity for him to turn pro. So I think he's definitely a player to watch.
Definitely a player to watch. He's got a few more to go to catch up to where you were by the age of 20. But Lydia, go back to that Grant Thornton that you got to play in. You and Jason Day ended up winning the deal. There's been a lot of talks for a while now, combining PGA Tour, LPGA Tour players, getting an event like that. I know you had a great experience, of course, because you won. But in your opinion, would you like to see more of that, less of that, the same? What's your take on all that?
I honestly loved it. I went to the golf course on Tuesday, and just to see some of the players that I literally had seen on PGA Tour highlights was just really cool. I had personally never played or met Jason before, so I was very nervous to meet him, but everybody that knew him said he's just the nicest guy. So that made me feel a little bit more comfortable, but I was nervous during our practice round, and honestly I came off that round thinking oh my God, I made such a mess, I just embarrassed myself. But he was, such a good sport, and asked me so many questions to make me feel more comfortable. And I think because of the way he approached me and the partnership, I thought it made my experience more fun and comfortable. And he was just so awesome to play with, and every single player that I played with was just so like great that I think I became a bigger fan of golf in general, and I became a bigger fan of like our tour players as well, like going playing alongside the men. So I really do hope that this not only this invitational, but maybe some other opportunities, come along. It might not be in my generation, but I think this is just great for golf for, the best golfers to come together and kind of showcase the talent.
Yeah, I think events like this are definitely going to help grow the game. I mean, a lot more money is being put into the women's game, which is great to see. So the LPGA is definitely on the way up. But you live in Lake Nona. A lot of PGA Tour players, a lot of LPGA Tour players live in the Orlando area. Are you one that, do you play a lot in your off weeks? And if so, who do you normally play with at home?
Yeah, I'm very lucky that, we have a bunch of tour players here. On the LPGA side, I'll play with Lindy Duncan or Leona Maguire, NASA Hataoka. And for us, it's not we'll randomly book tee times and go like, hey, do you want to play? So I think that's a great thing about like all of us kind of living in the area is that we're just flexible and we're all kind of around, so we can kind of go with the flow. And in the men's, I'll play with Ben An, and he stripes it, so sometimes kind of unbelievable to hit the ball that far and that high and that straight. So I really love playing with him.
Look, when I was out on tour, like my favorite day was Tuesday to get out there with the guys and have some action. Do some gambling during the practice rounds. Out on the LPGA Tour, is there any games during the Tuesday practice rounds?
I've actually seen other players do it, whether it's like a birdie game, in 9 holes, and I've seen girls and I have played some, during off weeks, but I think it's like pretty seldom, like during tournament week, but I have seen other players do it, or even like amongst the caddies as well. But for me, I'm kind of like, okay, I'll play around like 12 to 2 or like somewhere in the afternoon. So it's like kind of like hard for me to like schedule something in advance with somebody else.
You and Sleeves would be great
Yeah, I was
playing
just about to
partners.
say,
He
you
doesn't
got
play
it figured
before
out
noon.
perfect. Just go out 2:30, play 6 or 7, probably get a good feel for it. You know what I mean? Let's not get exhausted before we go out there. Lydia, I got one more like serious question for you. I want to get to ask you some personal stuff as well, but this also feels kind of weird to ask somebody given your age right now. But given all you've accomplished, you could still have 20 plus more years of world-class golf ahead of you if you choose. Do you have ambitions to do that and to play that long?
To be honest, no. I think when I was younger, I said I want to retire when I'm 30, and now that I'm inching closer to 30, I'm like 4 years is still a long time from now. I'm honestly taking it by the day and taking it by the week. And, when that happens, you're almost like at the middle of the year and then you're done with the majors and all that. So I don't really have like a certain, I think, date when I want to retire. And I think for every single player, I think until that moment comes, you really don't know. Like I could say 30 or like 28, but who knows, I could play to like 35. And that's the beauty of golf, is that as long as we're like healthy and fit, we can really do this for a long time. And age is like maybe not as relevant as in sports like swimming or other sports. So yeah, I think, it's very, I don't really know when, but I do feel like I'm definitely past the halfway point in my career.
All right, some big news here from Subpar. We have officially launched our own YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe at golf_subpar on YouTube. Check out this week's video. Subscribe, do all the stuff. Colt, we got some cool behind the scenes stuff coming, and give you a little outside look at some of the stuff outside the studio. So please please subscribe. You're the best listeners in the game. We love you. Back to the show.
We all know Lydia Ko, the golfer, but what's like an off week or maybe like during the off season? You put the clubs away for a little bit. What does Lydia Ko enjoy doing?
I love eating.
Nice. Same.
Yeah, I love eating, and that's why I work out so I can eat. Sometimes my goals of like how I want my physique to be does not match with what I'm putting in my body. So, my trainer has, a much more difficult task. But yeah, I honestly like. I think in my time off, I don't really like to travel that much, try and be at home as much as I can. And, I love cooking and just being home and kind of not having to wake up to an alarm and just, not get paranoid that I'm going to make it to like a 7:30 tea time or something and just kind of go with the flow.
I like it.
A lot of good answers.
Should we get to the E9?
Hold on, I want to ask you this just because you said you feel like you're past the halfway point. There will be a time where golf probably isn't, your primary focus in life. If you woke up tomorrow and the game of golf ceased to exist and you got to pick your dream job, what would you want to do?
Oh, like two things maybe.
Yeah.
One, a chef,
Figured
and
that.
two would be a lawyer.
Oh,
Ooh, that's
okay. Well, you didn't go to college, and that requires a lot of college.
Yeah, it's I think like very opposite side of the spectrum. I think like a chef is like I'm always interested in like the culinary world. So I think like I've seen chefs and I'm friends with a couple of chefs that I'm like, wow, like it's like art. And to be able to like make the food not only beautiful but like match to other like so many people's palates, I think is incredible, because for me it's difficult even to make it like taste good for me and my husband. So I think a chef and lawyer, I don't know, there's like something about like the law, and it could be just like a TV series that I've seen that makes it like look cool, but I think those two would be really cool.
Do you have a specialty dish?
It would be just something Korean. My mom cooks a lot of Korean food at home, so that's what I'm used to cooking. And I think my husband has kind of has been unfortunate at times in being the guinea pig to my experiments. But he's been such a good sport and says like it's good most of the times. So yeah, just something Korean, I think.
Smart man. Yeah, smart man.
Very wise.
All
Very
right,
wise.
Let's get to the E9. Lydia, this is fun. 9 fun questions to get to know you just a little better. And we ask this to everyone. You can be anybody else for a day. Anyone in the history of time. You get to walk in their shoes for a day. Who would it be?
Oh, anybody in that shape? Wow, I would want to be my mom.
Okay. That's a first.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she pretty much does everything. For me, she sacrificed a lot and put in a lot of time. Like for me in my career, apart from literally hitting the golf ball, like she does everything. So I think I would love to just be in her shoes and actually like kind of understand the things that I've like taken for granted as just being the daughter, and understand like what it's like just being in her shoes and having to deal with me.
Beautiful. Love that.
awesome.
First time answer. We've had mom as an answer on here. All right. I like that. I referenced the Grant Thornton earlier with Jason Day, which you guys want. But he does have a new look since the last time you two played together. Give us a breakdown, the Lydia Ko breakdown of Jason Day's new sense of fashion.
I think he looks younger. He looks younger. Obviously, he's worn like kind of the like athleisure wear the last few years with multiple different companies. So it's definitely a different look. But I think he looks fashionable, and I think we've all seen how much golf fashion has changed over the years. So it's really cool that he's rocking that look. And I mean, I'm pretty sure Jason can pull off like most things.
He lost the beard too. I
don't recommend that.
A little younger. Colt's about to do it too.
Like, he looks really young.
Yeah. Yeah, a little baby face under there. We'd forgotten about.
All right. Next one. Best nickname anyone has ever given you.
Shrimp.
Who gave you shrimp?
That was actually from my teammates in at my province in New Zealand. We're under the North Harbour, and we would go to into provincials and all that. And I was the youngest one and the smallest one, so they called me Shrimp. And then as I got like a little bigger, they said maybe we need to like call you King Prawn or something.
King Prawn.
King Prawn. KP.
I heard Sean Foley called you Baby Goat.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if I deserve that, but Sean has always, been so supportive and sweet, and he'll still like text me that occasionally. So very honored, especially from, somebody like him.
That's a good one. I like Baby Goat.
Baby Goat's good. Baby Goat's good, especially coming from Sean. All right, Lydia, according to virtually every human we've ever spoken to about you, you're the nicest human in the history of the world. But if you had to name one bad thing about you or your worst personality trait, what would you say it is?
Me, I don't think I'm not that nice. I can name so many ladies on tour that's like way nicer than me. I mean, like look at Brooke Henderson. She's like a walking angel. Me, I can name like a lot of things bad about myself. I think I have a short temper, and I kind of take word for word when somebody's like saying like something negative about me. So yeah, I'm not the most like open-minded, hard person.
We have everyone around you fooled then.
Yeah,
because they're like, dude, there's nothing.
Has
She's
said
perfect.
anything different. All right, next one. You won the Canadian Open on the LPGA Tour twice as an amateur. You would have won $300,000 each time, but instead it went to the person that finished second. So I want to know who gave you the better thank you gift, MB Park or Karen Eicher?
Neither.
Oh, bad form, ladies.
Neither. But I actually didn't play with. I didn't play with either one of them. I think in the final round of both of those championships. And obviously, I'm just literally a 15, 16-year-old kid. Like, let's go in there, just to get the experience of playing alongside these ladies. But after I've been on tour, MB's been great. I've played her team event that she held in Korea, and Karine and her husband and her family are great too. So I've got no complaints. But I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know who exactly came second to Nick Dunlap, but like, I don't know if that player would have also done something. It's just, it's a unusual situation.
Well, they should, because you made them over $150,000 more, and Christian Bezuidenhout actually finished second to Nick Dunlap. So I'm going to make sure he takes care of Nick for that, because that was 1.5 mil.
Yeah. That's a watch or something.
Yeah, you got to get something.
They're probably not going to give it to you now, given the trajectory
We'll work on
that
it.
you've been on, but I feel like something was warranted at the time. All right, next one from me, Lydia. Have you ever seen an athlete give a member of the media the interview yips the way you did with Jerry Foltz back in 2022?
No, and honestly, I didn't think it would like startle him like that. And it was, I mean, I don't know, like, as an athlete, I think you never want to be like shown as you're injured, like if you're actually not injured. Like if you're I think just being transparent is like the best way to go. And I wasn't injured, and I just needed some stretching and some adjustments because of that time of the month. And I honestly think like that is what every female athlete has to deal with. And it hits people like to like, I guess, different intensities, but to me, like, it got me, and I just was being honest, and I honestly didn't think it would catch him that off guard. And I felt bad to Jerry because he's great. He's just a great person and awesome at what he does. And I was like, I was just telling the truth.
Jerry is one of the best. he is. I mean, I've never seen him speechless before. That was an awesome moment.
Yeah, honestly, that's all we asked for.
Yeah.
You got it, Jer.
It was fantastic. All right, next one. We've seen several ladies tee it up on the PGA Tour. Lexi Thompson recently did it in Vegas. If you could pick one PGA Tour event to tee it up in, which one would it be?
Oh, I would have said the CJ Cup originally if it was in Korea, because when it was played there, it was actually played in Jeju Island, which is where my family and my parents are from. So it would have literally been like a hometown like event in front of the Korean golf fans, which we all know. Koreans love golf, and I think that would have been probably the coolest thing. But I know for a fact that I would probably very, very highly likely not make it to the weekend, but it'd just be an awesome experience just to even tee it up.
So that's something you would entertain if the opportunity was there?
Probably not. But I am actually playing the Pro-Am at the Genesis Invitational in a couple of weeks. And I am nervous for that, just even for the Pro-Am. And I am excited and kind of nervous what pro I'm going to be paired up with.
Oh, that's awesome, man. It's Riviera, one of the best golf courses in the world. You'll love it.
Yeah, I've never been there, and I'm super excited to go. And I was hoping like maybe I can play with like Ben or Jason, like somebody that I know, but like whoever it is, I'm excited to be able to like see and actually watch and learn as well.
There is a chance this Tiger fella might be playing. That'd be pretty fun, except he tees off at like 6:30 in the Pro-Ams each morning.
Yeah, I think I'd be too nervous for that. I actually think I might have to take something for my nerves before teeing it up if I was playing with him.
That's awesome.
Yep, that's a big, big arena there. All right, my last one, Lydia. We used to ask this to everyone, but I'm bringing it back in your honor. Let's say there's a movie being made about the life of Lydia Ko. What actress would you like to play you?
Oh, wow. I really like the Korean American actress in Grey's Anatomy, Sandra Oh.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the last name.
And like other series as well. And just because I'm obviously Korean descent and like that's her roots as well, I think that would be, really cool for somebody like her to play me and my just very everyday life.
That's awesome.
You can work on that when you go out to LA.
Yeah. Boom. All right. Last one. You mentioned you live in Orlando at Lake Nona. Do you think the people that you bought the house from gave you such a good deal because they wanted to get the hell away from a person that lives right down the road from you named Frank Nobilo?
When I actually first moved, I did realize that Frank and Selena were literally 3 houses down, and our street is awesome. We have Australian neighbors, and then obviously Frank, who's from New Zealand. So, I'm glad that they sold this house to us, and I said our street is the best street in Lake Nona. So I'm accompanied by legends.
Okay, see, this is I did not want this to go this way at all. I was wanting you to hate all over Frank Nobilo. What kind of neighbor is Frank?
I've actually never seen him on a golf course, and I've only seen him on a tennis court. Because I'll go work out, or I played some tennis during COVID, and he plays a lot of tennis. But they're great. They invited me over, and I had dinner at their place, and it's just awesome that they're like Kiwis living on the same street in Orlando, which is literally one of the furthest cities from New Zealand, within the United States.
He's not that big a deal in New Zealand, is he?
He is.
Just say no.
It.
We'll clip this.
He is. Golf is like growing a lot in New Zealand, and I think COVID was actually one of the peak times where it did like keep developing, and like just the general amount of membership increased as well. And but before then, there weren't really like that many like names, especially in golf, because New Zealand is more known for like rugby and cricket and netball and other like water sports or athletics. But Frank is definitely a name that we all know, and I love that he's my neighbor, even though like I might see him more often on TV than actually in real life.
That's awesome. Well, Lydia, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on all the success, and go get that last point you need to get in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I'll try my best. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, thank you,
Lydia.
All right, that was Lydia Ko joining us on Golf Subpar, just 1 point away from making the Hall of Fame, and she's only 26 years old. Incredible. Looked like she was going to do it just recently and just missed out, losing in that playoff. But man, what an unbelievable player she is.
Yeah, and shout out to her for actually coming on and doing this interview. We'd had this set up, and it was the day after that playoff loss to Nelly Korda, where she was potentially could have, earned her way into the Hall of Fame right there, and it didn't happen. And then she still agreed to come on, so props to her for doing that. I mean, when you really break it down and look at her age, like one of the only players in the world that can make Nick Dunlap look like a late bloomer. It's been unreal, and I thought talking to her about what are your ambitions, how late do you want to play, what do you chase after you potentially achieve the Hall of Fame at such a young age, man. She also was thrust into the spotlight at such a young age, Colt, and one of the like few, I would say, that's handled it extremely, extremely well. That ain't easy when you're living in a fishbowl at that age, and all of a sudden you got money and the whole world opens up to you. Even a guy like myself, I might have made some bad decisions with that.
I tell you, the worst break she got was Frank Nobilo being one of her neighbors.
Oh,
Good
how about
Lord,
that?
I would move so fast. Get the hell out of there. But I love the nickname, too. She said her favorite one was Shrimp. I like Baby Goat, what Sean Foley called her. I think that's hilarious. But really cool to sit down and talk with her and, learn a lot more about the LPGA as well.
Yeah, it's fun to have her on. We don't get to have a ton of LPGA girls on, but when we do, it's fun, especially when you get one of the best in the world in Lydia Ko, and she's going to continue to be that. And I know there's a little delay on her getting that last point into the Hall of Fame, but that thing's coming sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident.
If I can bet it right now, I'm going to go ahead and bet, yes, she's going to make the Hall of Fame.
Well, hopefully it pays off better than your Super Bowl bet.
God, I'm terrible,
you took
dude.
the Niners. I was on the Chiefs. I guessed 28-24. I was close, but the under just hit for some guys. Some guys got a push out of it with 47. A lot of people had it at 47.5. That was dirty.
I had Niners and over and got the greasiest push in the history on the 47, but I still remain like winless for the last. I mean, dude, I cannot win a single thing. I'm such an idiot. Like I said, I'll never bet against Patrick Mahomes again as an underdog. I go and do it. I am also, as terrible as I've been betting, it's sad to see football go. We got a long stretch before that college football season starts up, man.
It's tragic, man. But what a game. That first half was so boring. And then the second half in overtime, unbelievable. Finally, an exciting Super Bowl. That was a lot of fun. Sorry, your bet didn't pay out. But let's see if we can get some winners this week at the Genesis Invitational. Like I said, a loaded field, just 70 guys. Surprise, surprise, Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. But he's coming off a rough week where he only made $500,000 last week.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know about that gas money, that Suburban, that thing guzzles. You know what I mean? And I mean, he putted pretty well early in the week, but I mean, he had 3 short misses there on the back 9 on the final round, or else might have won that thing for the 3rd time in a row, dude. It's just a joke how good he is, T.J. Green, right now.
All right, well, let's get to some picks. I'm going to go with a guy as my favorite who I know loves this place. He's an L.A. guy, has had a really nice record here in the few times he's played, and he's going off at 18-1, coming off a nice week off where he probably got some rest, didn't have to deal with playing all those holes in a short amount of time. Give me Colin Morikawa at 18-1.
Yeah, I like that, and I think there is something to the guys that didn't play this past week. That was a grind of a week physically for all of them. I'm picking a guy that also didn't play last week, and I might sound like a broken record because I'm going to keep picking this guy as long as his odds are where they are. 20-1, Ludwig Oberg, by the way, is how you pronounce his name. Last 2 starts, 9th at Farmers, runner-up at Pebble. I don't need to go over the same things. He drives it like a god. He irons it great. He does everything good. It's a perfect big yard for him and in good form right now. And fresh. Give me Ludwig.
What yard isn't good for him?
None. There are 0 yards that I will pick and say I don't like this for Ludwig.
Yeah, unbelievable. The guy is an absolute stud. Pretty good idea for Joe Scobber to pick that bag up.
That was smart.
I'm not gonna.
That was very smart.
All right, for my dark horse, 60-1. Probably one of my top 5 favorite players on the PGA Tour. He's hilarious. I love following him. Give me the man, Si-Woo Kim.
Oh, just a beautiful.
I love him so much.
Beautiful. Just such a beautiful specimen. You can't not love Si-Woo. The world needs more of Si-Woo. I like that pick. Good odds, too. I'm going to go a little further down the board, Colt, to a new Scottsdale resident. He's going off at 90-1. He had a 6th at the Farmers, 14th at Pebble. He's a Southern California kid on top of all that, putting the hell out of the ball right now. Off to a pretty good start, but I think his time is coming, whether it's this week or later this year. I think he's going to pick one off. Give me Bo Hostler, the big Bo, the Bo Show.
Bo Show. We were paired with him last week, first 2 days. Good golfer. Yeah,
he's a good golfer of the ball.
It is coming. He can roll his rock. These greens can get a little tricky if they get bumpy, but yeah, Bo's first win is coming. I like that pick a lot, and I like this tournament a lot. I can't wait for the Genesis Invitational to get going. But we're out of here, Sleeves. We'll talk to you on next week's Subpar.